Reynolds. How are you, HR? It's been a while.
What's going on, my man, Rich?
How you been?
How you doing? You good?
I'm doing great. It's been a long time. Do you remember when we first met, Harold? I told you that story. I don't know if you remember it. Do you remember when we first met at all or no?
I know it was a long time ago. It had to be good.
Well, no, it was. I was a college student at Northwestern University, working in Washington D.C. And you came through with the Angels, and I was working part-time for the Orange County News Network, and I interviewed you, and you came through. That's a long time ago.
That's going back a ways.
That is.
I wasn't even familiar with that.
And then we worked together on SportsCenter all those years, and it's great to chat with you now, Harold. It's been a while.
Well, now you're run, Rich, run. I mean, you're big time.
Well, how many bases do you think I could steal? How many bases do you think I could swipe?
I'm gonna give you, with the speed that you displayed this year, it looked like you're a little bit faster. So I'm gonna go ahead and up it to about 15 now.
Yep. Well, you know what? I take that extra step because I'm a gambler. You know.
There you go.
Leading off of first. I could also read a defense, and I also know, you know, I would be the only guy that gets a defensive shift because of how fast I am to get to second base. What do you think, Harold?
Hey, on a serious note,
yes.
That is such a great thing. How did that start, before you dive into all this baseball stuff? How did that start?
It started with me sitting I was sitting with Terrell Davis, future Hall of Famer in my mind, Terrell Davis, in the stands of the old RCA Dome 11 years ago now, waiting for NFL Total Access to hit the air. And we were bored, and the crew was on a break, and I turned to him, how fast do you think I could run the 40? And he said, you mean right now? I said, yeah, right now. And he laughed. And I left the stands in my suit and tie and ran it, unbeknownst to me that there was somebody in the NFL Network truck who recorded it and showed it to me later on. And then, you know, the rest is now quote-unquote history. I don't know if there's really any history being made.
That's pretty cool. I knew it had to be some kind of challenge or something. That's really cool.
It
really
was.
Cool.
Yeah, nobody laughs at me when I talk about speed, Harold. You know that. So
that's great.
Let me ask you, what is going on with Cole Hamels, as far as you could tell? Do you think he's going to be a Philly? Do you think he's definitely going to be traded? What can you tell me, Harold?
Well, I think at this point in time, he's going to start the season as a Philly. It's hard to pull off spring training deals of the magnitude they're looking at. It can be done, but I kind of, in my own camp here with Ruben Amaro, I mean, you got a pitcher who you know it's $90 million for 4 years when you just saw Max Scherzer get $210 million. Why am I going to just give him away? I'm waiting for the thing that's going to turn my organization in a whole new direction. So I don't see that happening right away. I think his best bet is to see if maybe there's a major injury in spring training, or a club doesn't think they're as good as they thought they might be and they end up needing that starter, like maybe the Red Sox or something like that. But I think he's in a good position. He's got 4 years on the contract. There's no rush.
Harold Reynolds joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Staying in the National League, how good can the Cubs be under Joe Madden? What are they going to look like in 2015?
Well, they're going to be exciting. They've got a lot of young players that are going to make young mistakes. So young mistakes don't get you in the playoffs, and that's going to be the big challenge. Are they better than they were? Absolutely. Is it a fun story? Will Joe be great? But I'm not ready to jump on that bandwagon and say, hey, the Cubs are in the postseason right now. I still think they got a lot of growing pains to go through.
So moving to the West, in San Francisco with Hunter Pence going down, the Panda now manning the hot corner all the way across the country in Fenway Park. What do the defending champion Giants look like to you, Harold?
Well, big loss with Hunter Pence. There's no doubt about it. I think the one thing that we always seem to forget is how great Brian Sabian is. He seems to be able to put a club together when you think the Giants are not going to be. But this is a huge uphill climb. You lose Panda, which I didn't know how they were going to replace that offensive production anyway. And then for Hunter Pence, you dial him in and say, hey, here's 20 and 100 or 25 and 100 immediately every year. He's going to play 159 games for me. That creates big problems. So I don't know where they turn. I still think they'll be very good because they've been built on pitching, but it's an uphill battle now.
Here in Southern California, which team do you believe is set for a better season, even though the Dodgers were beset by injury with Kenley Jansen going down, their closer for the foreseeable future. And then obviously the Angels having a great regular season last year, but Josh Hamilton now out for perhaps the rest of his career, let's be honest. What do you see about Southern California baseball, Harold?
I see the Dodgers, of those two clubs, the team that's probably easier to make an adjustment and go win because they've already got the great pitching. They're really set. You're going to get Kenley back. Like you said, we don't know when Josh is coming back. But I do think the wrinkle is down in San Diego. That might be where a lot of eyes turn to. That's an exciting club. They pitched the ball great last year. They didn't score runs. Now you add that outfield, Will Myers and Justin Upton and Matt Kemp. I think the Padres are going to be a relevant club that's going to battle all three of those guys this year.
Harold's part of MLB Network's 30 Clubs in 30 Days spring training coverage, plus MLB Network airing live baseball every day this month. Joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. I waited as long as I could before I got to A-Rod. I think that takes some remarkable restraint on my part, HR, don't you think?
It does.
It does.
That's the big story.
I went a solid 5 minutes before turning to A-Rod on you. How does that play out in 2015? He's getting ovations in Tampa. The question is, how long might that last in the Bronx?
Well, it's about can he hit? Hopefully, I know what he's thinking. I know what he's hoping is that the page has been turned. They're going to talk about his on-field performance. I think he's going to be fairly productive regardless. It's an amazing story. I mean, he's the lightning rod. It's not A-Rod anymore. It's the lightning rod. Everything he does, you want to know what's going on. So people are going to watch it. Will it be a train wreck at the end, or will it be, the redemption story? He's got a long ways before that because of all the other stuff. But you know what I'm saying. You can't take your eyes off it. He's 3 for 7. He already got a hit today, and he's playing a lot. So we'll see what happens. So
it's all looking up right now, huh? 3 for 7. I like it.
Right now, everything's looking up, and he's actually, believe it or not, done everything he's supposed to do. He kind of disappeared for 18 months, which was kind of weird. But the minute he got back in the public eye, he's not going away. But, Rich, you look at it this way. If this was the Yankee club of the core four and their great run, Alex is an afterthought. Nobody wants him on the club. He's not going to be there. The Yankees don't have a gate attraction, if you ask me. They just don't. He's a gate attraction.
Yeah, like a bearded lady.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Any way you look at it, it's there.
Harold Reynolds joining me here. So before I let you go, Harold, who's the favorite in each? Who's the favorite in each league? American League, National League favorite to be playing each other come frigid October. What do you like right now?
I know Denard Span went down today, and they're saying he's going to be back sooner than I think he will. But the Nationals are loaded. I think they got to be the pick in the National League. And then in the American League, it's going to be a coin toss. There's 3 or 4 clubs you can really say this is the best team in the American League right now, and I really can't pinpoint who that club is. Do they come out of the East? I don't think so. For me right now, I think Seattle's the best club on paper. So if you hear me right, that'd be the Washington Nationals and the Seattle Mariners.
Wow.
As the two to make the run through both leagues. But we'll see. It's a long summer.
Harold, thanks for calling. I'll chat with you down the line, okay? You take care.
We got to talk Marcus Mariota next time.
Well, do you want to talk? What do you want to know? What do you want to talk about?
Well, that's my guy. I think the NFL's missing it from what I'm hearing.
Well, I mean, Jameis.
Everybody's too wrapped up in worrying about if he can call a play in the huddle. Come on. Well, he changed plays at the line of scrimmage. I don't get it. Clue me in.
Well, here's the clue, Harold, is that, the guy plays in an offense, whereas Winston plays in an offense that's more pro-ready. And people look at him and say, that looks more pro-ready than Mariota. But there is definitely going to be a team that goes and gets him within the first few picks of the draft, in my estimation. And we'll see how that plays out.
No doubt. Here's the thing, though, that really kind of surprised me, and I'm the layman here watching this.
This is good.
But what's a pro style anymore? Everybody runs out of a shotgun in the NFL. They do it in Pee Wee football.
Well, pro style
under center.
True. A pro style, though, is somebody that doesn't look to the sideline and see a face on a card, like to look at Scott Van Pelt's face on a card, and that means a play.
But that was all decoys. He calls the plays at the line. I thought it was really time that Scott Frost, the offensive coordinator, stepped up and said some things. So I was glad to hear that because, I'm a Duck fan, and my nephew played there the last 4 years. And, Marcus calls most of the plays the whole game. He's audible and out of plays. They'll figure it out.
No, I don't.
Figure it out.
You just want Winston in Major League Baseball being a closer. That's what you want.
Well, I think Winston's going to go. He should go the first pick. I think, quarterback-wise, you look what he did. He's going to do that. I was really impressed with Coach Mariucci with him on the whiteboard, though. That was impressive.
That was. I mean, listen, he impressed like crazy at the combine, Harold. He impressed everybody that he met, that he came across. The only issue is what's gone on in his life over the last couple of years off of a gridiron that people are concerned about. And has Russell Wilson showed up to Rangers spring training yet? Have you given him pointers on how to man second base?
I heard he was coming in like the middle of this week. So.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see when he shows up.
Yeah.
But see, Rich, I'm following your career, man. I love it. You're doing great stuff.
You're the best, Harold. Thanks, bud. You take care. We'll chat soon.
Buddy.
You got it. That's Harold Reynolds.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.